So today we're going to be taking a look at the new Kobalt cutoff tool and the Greenworks here and compare them to the rest that I previously tested. So like normal, we're going to use the dyno here to get the max watts out with each available battery. So the Greenworks on the dyno, yeah, 2 amp hour, not the greatest, but when you bump up there to the 4 amp hour, it's a nice little boost in watts out. What's interesting is with the Kobalt, the 2 amp hour, we get the watts out similar to using that 4 amp hour on the Greenworks. But no surprise, the 8 amp hour comes out here on top, producing the most watts out with this tool. So comparing them to the rest of the cutoff tools on the market here, Kobalt comes in 4th place, and you'll find Greenworks right behind Ryobi, but actually in front of Makita. Now I did capture the watts at 15,000 RPMs as well, and pretty much the same story here with the Kobalt coming in 4th, but the Greenworks actually fell behind the Makita here. Now, when doing that practical rebar cut test, things did become interesting. With the Kobalt here, doing that in 3 seconds right there with the DeWalt and Craftsman. With the Greenworks slotting in right between the rigid running that 12 amp hour max and the rigid running the 4 amp hour max. So the Greenworks, for $100 you get 3 cutting discs, you get the steel, multi-purpose, and that tile. So there isn't a spot for the Allen. You just have a normal depth gauge here without an optional dust shield, and the guard does rotate a little bit. Variable speed trigger, trigger lock, single direction here, and what's interesting is the direction is reverse. But the motor itself looks very similar to what rigid is running. In my opinion, it's all right for the money, but I was expecting a lot more out of this tool considering it is 24 volts. And the motor looks similar to the rigid, which we know the performance is really good with the rigid cutoff tool. Battery pack wise, I'm concerned that this is actually the problem. Now one thing that is nice, on top of the battery pack, you do have a USB-A port here. And they did just release a single stack 4 amp hour with USB-C and also a 8 amp hour, but of course they are currently sold out. And there you have it, my concern exactly here. We have cheap EVE cells. So the Kobalt here comes with 3 cutoff discs, 1 multi-purpose, and a tile disc. Very similar depth gauge here in guard. Allen wrench holder here on the front, LED light. You have an actual shaft lock switch here versus the push button style here on the Greenworks. Variable speed trigger with a trigger lock and forward and reverse. Along with at the base of the handle, we do have 2 air vents with screens that are removable there for the motor. So the drive for the disc is actually offset from the motor, similar to the DeWalt here. Now I did capture max cutting depth. So on the Kobalt here, similar to the Greenworks, the actual depth gauge is recessed, and I'm going to take a measurement from the base here to the bottom of the disc. I also took a weight here of each one with a 2 amp hour battery if you're curious. So overall, I think Greenworks missed it here. I don't know what the deal is with this reverse direction. If this was forward, yeah, I could say, you know, $100, maybe sooner than later the battery packs get better. But to me, what kills this is that reverse direction and those cheap packs. So you have it, in my opinion, the new Kobalt is right up there with the Craftsman and the DeWalt. And data-wise, broke this down into 2 tables, of course, for the 12 volts. You have that brand, model, where it's made, warranty, cost, claimed RPM, tested RPM, and if it'll go forward and reverse. And here we have the same thing for 18 to 24 volts. And if you're looking for more information on the 12 volt or any of the other cutoff tools, I'll leave the link below to the previous videos and of course the product links. Hopefully you enjoyed this short update video. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.